Okay, you're live.
All right, great. Welcome everybody to our weekly selectmen's meeting. And we'll continue processing our forms and files here. Move on.
No, we pretty way for the dog for the whole week. I'm gonna be home. Yeah, we'll give it a figure out. Sure, we'll do that. We'll look at it about 500 feet or so. Probably the Oh.
Can you let people in the meeting? Thank you.
Sorry, we can only have one person in here at a time. We can only have one person in here at a time. Right. Okay. So you can go to the car and you can flag you when we're ready. What you need, we'll be ready for you.
Hello.
There you go. How's everything going?
Going great. How about with you guys?
Not bad.
Pretty good.
Good.
Have you met everyone?
Yes,
Okay, well,
from one junction or another.
We pulled a name out of a raffle and he won. So what cruiser did you end up with?
I got the new one.
Oh, look at that, huh?
I got the new one. It's tough getting used to because sometimes you'll be stopped somewhere and like the vehicle's not running and you're like, uh-oh, did it stall out? Like what happened? And all of a sudden it fires up. You're like, oh, what's going on?
You get used to that
I'm trying.
after a while, but I will tell you, it's really screwy in the summertime, so when you think it's gonna happen, all the time, with air conditioners going on.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it'll kick off, and it'll immediately kick back on, and you go like, what the heck's happening?
Oh my goodness.
Because it needs juice.
It's not bad though. I think I'm averaging right now 21.5 miles per gallon, which is quite a few more than the non-hybrids. So that's positive.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I get used to that too easily.
It's not easy, but one step at a time.
it's easy to sneak up on people.
It is.
One of the things, I wanted to discuss this morning, I don't know why we're getting it, but it looks like it's got a natural address on it, so it's coming to us for approval, for tree cutting with Eversource
Oh,
on Pine River Road, and I've never seen one of these before.
no, I haven't either.
So I just want to make sure that if we're supposed to sign something, we do and return it.
Yeah, because when you get down the tail end of Pine River Road, by sign one, they could like just take all those big pine trees down on both sides. It'd be beautiful.
Where's 141 Pine River?
There is no 141 Pine River, I
There-
looked that up.
There we
So
go.
I think they're just saying that whole road.
Well, when you get out towards 16, that's the lower numbers.
Yeah.
So you're a couple miles in.
Pine trees are and stuff like that, probably.
Well, that's where, yeah, they'd be in it, because,
Okay.
Yeah, right around that, the line is from 25 Pine River.
Okay.
And it's a lot further in than I realized before, to the culvert that we
Yeah.
replaced. So I think that would be well before it, because I think the culvert's in, at
Well,
least over a mile.
There's actually a name and a number on here printed from the tree company. And I'm thinking we probably ought to call them just to make sure.
Yeah,
If they do need something, we give it to them.
yeah, absolutely, because sometimes when there's, sometimes they need sign offs. For sure. So Joe gave you the new cruiser, huh?
Yeah,
It's all downhill from here.
sure is. I take good care of it though. It stays in my garage, so.
A garage, look at that. Boy, that would.
Our vehicles are not used to that kind of treatment.
I put my truck outside, put the cruiser inside.
Whoa,
Uh,
now, sounds like somebody's expecting a call out in the middle of the night, wants a warm car rather than.
Uh-huh. Tried to get my wife to leave her car outside. She wouldn't do it, so.
yeah. I don't blame her. I don't blame her.
And there's another one in here too, Mike, when you read it, on the annual solid waste facility report. Do we do that?
Yes,
Okay,
I've been doing it since I
okay,
got on the board. And it's due usually by the end of March.
March 31.
There you go.
Is it an online report or is it something?
No,
Oh,
it's
okay, okay.
Yeah, you go in and, I usually go through it with Mark, to make sure we cover all the bases, and if I have any questions on locations of things to be inspected, he makes himself available and goes through it with me.
Excuse me, we have one more intent to set for the signature folder.
Sure. Signature folder. There you go, Chuck.
Caught up with BoS. Tom, you didn't see this one as part of this.
Oh.
You already signed the other part.
Oh, okay.
That's the other one.
Thank you.
Talk about computer, let's talk about computers. And then email account. And then I have to get into the hard section.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
All good, or we'll need to sign it? Oh. Well, you gotta pay for it.
Okay, there's the time slip in here somewhere, I'll be, oh, no, I did not. Not Paul.
Excuse me?
No, excuse me,
I thought I heard them.
you did.
Okay.
Sign that, right? Here's one, one of two. looking at the amount it cost us for propane at this location, you think we ran out of gas?
Maybe. Big generator.
It's a big tank, that's 1,000 gallons worth.
1,000 gallons.
But it really does make a difference using that wax gas card. You're not having to pay the taxes and stuff.
Thinking of
The
getting,
price per gallon pretty low.
thinking of getting yourself one?
No, yeah, that won't qualify, I know that.
Speaking of the Wex cards, did you and Joe ever locate the,
Not that I'm aware of yet. I know there's a possibility that it may have been in the old Tahoe.
it is not,
It's not in there.
it is not.
Okay, then I will get in touch with Wex. I have to coordinate with Ian because he's got everything set up so that when we try to log into Wex, they send his cell phone a code to log in as authentication. And by the time he gets back, that code is expired. I have to set another one. It's been going on for a little while now, so that's the only way I can get in. 'Cause I still haven't added myself as a user. I've been using Joe's PIN code. So I can't get in.
Yeah, that was, since you're here, that was something I was gonna bring up as I saw in the report. It did have a listing for Sergeant McMillan on one of these forms for payment for the Wex card.
Okay,
So I think we probably are going to need to update across the board with that. And previously, there was some discussion about not updating the cruises that were listed. I think the Tahoe is still listed on there. Prior to that, I think the Crown Vic was on there. So when you get into this, you might want to like just start anew and capture all the new vehicles, like
absolutely.
it's your, you know,
Yeah.
whatever you guys.
Well, I did do the same thing last week. I went up to bring some evidence down to the state lab, and Sacco and Butch were still on the list as authorized people to send and receive evidence. And I was like, they haven't been there for a while.
Yeah,
So I've dropped it down right now where it's just me and Eric Diaz. So I've updated that. So just one step at a time. As soon as I crack open another egg, you know, I try to bring everything as current as I can.
right.
So for the most part, we're getting there.
Well, you're gonna run into a lot of that, because I think some of the attitude was, it's too much work to change something around and even bring it up, 10 years.
Yeah.
To it. So I'm sure you're gonna find a lot of things. I think Audrey can probably pull you off on the side and tell you, you're gonna find a lot of things. Because when she got here.
Yeah, no, it's fine. You know, every time I turn a leaf or whatever, I just, I just update it and just move on to the next. So, but it hasn't been too bad.
Job security.
Yeah.
Mike, I see an invoice in here from Rebecca using an outside computer service. I'm trying to figure out why we're not using the one that we've got a contract with.
Yeah, I think
It says
that's,
computer help.
It's her personal computer.
We might be paying for that.
And she uses it for her job. It's an Apple.
this is the
Well, we have a
issue.
town computer out back here. She chooses not to use it. So as far as I'm concerned, she's on her own. We don't support the Apple.
I think,
She's the one that chooses to use her own computer.
I think we're gonna have to have a work session around this one, because this has come up before.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think before we just jump into it, I think maybe we need to talk it through, and maybe even meet with Rebecca and try to straighten this out so that, because I'm not sure what's on that computer, that might be town files that we may not even have access, so.
Well, I don't think it's ever been reviewed for security for the town or any of that. so.
Yeah, that's why I think
Well,
there's
that's what
a
I think.
really big
I don't
discussion
mind
here.
getting computer support and
No.
on that computer that she's been using, but I don't want to be paying for multiple computers for her to use. I don't see why the town should be responsible for that, because we do provide technology right out here. She just chooses not to use it.
Yeah, and again, I think there's a bigger discussion, because what files do we have at the town level? What's on that computer? What could be lost if there was an issue? I think there's just
Yeah.
probably a lot
Yep.
more than we're
Yep.
initially, you know.
On this folder, there's actually an email from her from the last, we didn't get this report in time on January 5th. Says, sorry about the delayed report, I'm having issues with my Effingham laptop.
It's not an Effingham laptop, it's her personal laptop.
Again, I think she's going to be unavailable for a bit here.
Yeah.
So we'll have to
Schedule
schedule.
something when she's back.
Yeah, that's my
That's a good idea.
gut feeling is the way to go about it. Finding trees in your neighborhood.
It goes to part of that technology policy thing you and I were trading emails on.
Did you get signature and stuff? Okay, probably. Audrey, I'm assuming you have all of this solid waste solid waste facility documentation electronically. It must be in there.
I'm sorry, what was it?
The solid waste annual solid waste report, solid waste facility.
Isn't that something that needs to be done?
It is. My question is, do you have this information came in electronically?
If it's attached to that email address to the town of Effingham,
Correct.
yeah, and we would have it electronically.
Okay. So with that, I'll leave you, I'm hoping to take all of this
Okay,
because I'm the one who goes and fills it out. So rather than print out another form, I'll just take this and pen to it. Is that okay? You need the,
you're gonna return it to us to reply?
yeah, I'll submit it to you folks to send it into the state.
Let me make a copy,
Of the email or the whole thing?
because, yeah, it looks like a copy, doesn't I just don't remember it, so,
And what about this one? That's one that you stamp on it.
yeah, this was an email.
So you need to keep that or for any purpose, or should I? Can I keep
Let
it
me just
now?
make a copy so we can be sure.
Killer tree. I heard that. All right. Ah.
Okay, so I'll have another one available with.
All right, thanks, Chris.
And the ambulance invoice too, sort of Brian's name on here. So I'll change what the
Yeah.
action ambulance.
Mhm. What's the, I don't know. The green one. Right, that goes into the January one versus the 2021 versus 2020. So we have another complaint on Townhouse Road about loose loss.
On Champion Hill Road.
Oh, Champion Hill, yeah. Okay, Champion.
And what that person doesn't know, as a result of that email, is there are actually several items that are being worked on in that particular area,
Yes,
from a police standpoint. and a legal standpoint.
I believe my latest update with that was that the Carroll County Sheriff's Office committed some kind of violation.
That's my understanding. I haven't been able to confirm that though,
Ah,
but that is my understanding,
now, more to follow, I guess.
yes.
Let's see, let's go through with all this. All right. Okay. Think we're through. Gonna be closing the doors on this meeting a little early today, due to some other appointments. But with that, we have dual manifest competing. One that is closing out, it should be closing out the activity, right, for December 30th, 2020 manifest in the amount of $61,462.75. I shall make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Hold on a second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Helen, aye. Now, for this year's second manifest of the year, January 12th manifest 2021, the amount of $23,727.86. I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Hold on a second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
To Alan, aye. We have our regular meeting minutes of January 5th, 2021. I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion?
None.
All right.
All right.
Aye.
Thank you, to Alan, aye. We went through the signature folder and a review of the mail. We have, of course, the loose horses zoning officers report and a letter from the executive council. Hopefully some additional funds will be spread around the state.
And just, that would also be the short term, if we can just follow up on that with the tree company.
Yes.
So,
All right, and the Eversource notification that maybe some work will be done on Pine River Road to remove trees or prune them. And the letter from about the state and funds came from Executive Counselor Kenny. And let's see, we have the action folder. We had Waste Management Annual Report filed with DES, and we'll take care of that. And we had Historic District Commission memos, and I'm sure will come up later in discussion. Announcements, the town offices will be closed January 18th, observation of the holiday. And the Board of Selectmen's meeting will be postponed to January 20th at 9 a.m. So,
it's moving from the 19th to the 20th.
correct. Just to give staff a little extra time to prepare all this fun stuff you see in front of you every week. And then we move right on.
Yeah.
Move on to the town administrator's comments. Audrey,
I actually don't have any comments this week.
I knew I liked you.
Yeah, yeah, unless you want to jump down to the new business of maybe attending this building weekly instead of bi-weekly.
Why don't we do that a little later on? We can kind of percolate that thought while we,
Okay,
yeah, thanks.
Absolutely.
All right, selectmen comments and reports. We'll go over to Mr. Hart.
Pretty easy. There's a transfer station. I already relayed to you guys that we, something up there being pumped out Wednesday or Thursday. I haven't heard which day exactly, but I would make sure I'm there when it is being
Okay.
pumped out. I need to talk to them, set up a regular maintenance, pump out schedule for all our municipal buildings in town. So that I'm working on. But this guy's gonna pump out the transfer station. We got that issue up there last week and the weekend.
Okay, yeah, I did get a report from the guys down there, the noxious smell.
Yeah, they come to the same thing. Mark showed me, we've already identified where the.
And they already have covered the 2 quarters and all. And,
With maintenance, what's your, we have what, 4?
we have 4 buildings.
Yeah,
Right, this building here was done last year, 2 years ago. And at
okay,
the same time, we had an issue with the gas line.
yeah.
Firehouse is a new system, so that'll probably be the last on the list. Or second to last, out of the four. When we get the library, which I have to go up. After, we have another meeting this morning, I'll go to the library, Chuck gave me some direction on where he thinks it is.
Okay,
Sound about right, so I'm gonna go there, check that out. He doesn't believe it's been pumped out. I haven't found anything that says it's been pumped out.
can't remember the last time. The last time the discussion came around, nobody was sure where it was located. And I think I pointed to perhaps Bill Pike as being an individual who might have the most institutional knowledge on that, but
Yeah, and the way the pipe comes out of the building and goes underneath the parking lot drive.
Mhm.
And the boulders that are right there protecting it,
Mhm.
and then knowing where the leach field is.
Yeah.
Going off from that, I would tell Tom, we know where the tank is within probably 6 or 8 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just probably gonna have to search a little bit to find it.
and then and apparently we don't have any good records depicting that. And there was nothing on our architectural reports from your, back in that.
Nope.
Okay.
No.
And I looked through those here.
But, I'm thinking, it's like, where we haven't done it, maybe we just, the schedule you set up, if we do one a year.
Yeah, but I think if this hasn't been done, I think we should.
No, I agree with that, but
Try
then
to-
kind of set them up on a staggered schedule, we do one per year. And just
Right.
get it on their schedule. and
Yeah,
just-
it was very long. Keep that.
Yeah, that was my thought too, and part of that, at least if we do one a year, you won't forget things for gaps. It'll be, which one is it this year,
And when I do find the library, I will mark on something and put it in the folder.
Okay,
Where exactly it is.
Okay,
The dimensions from the building and
Yeah.
whatever else is permanent.
Great.
And, that's what Lakes Region also.
Okay, yeah,
Home of the Thunder Jug.
there you go.
And that's it, yeah.
Okay.
all right, Jeremy came in the other day, the electrician, I came down. In short, I'm gonna order a couple of cables that will at least allow us to close the door. They need to be longer, another 2 feet longer. The cost to go in and try and identify all of the lines where they go, where it belongs to, we'd spend a ton of money doing that. So at this stage, it's a mess, but I think we're gonna have to live with the mess.
I think Audrey has some.
Brandon is supposed to fix the cables, close the door tomorrow,
Oh, perfect. Okay,
but I'm buying anything
good. I did it. But yeah, so the other, I mean, everything appears to be working. Now, we did test this outlet here in the room. There is power to it from the box in the back.
Yeah.
Plug a phone in, it won't work. And I think it's got something to do because of the programming that needs to be done to consolidate it. And the PD phone has power, but it doesn't work. So I think that's also a programming thing.
Okay.
But I was just telling Audrey this morning earlier that we need to call Consolidated and get somebody in here to get them working.
Yeah.
So that's,
And what about the ends that you were working on for the police department, that line?
that line, I already put the end on it.
And
I put the end on it, we plugged it in, its power is into the phone.
Okay.
But there's a programming function that's gonna take place.
that is the, okay.
And then we just need to validate and verify that we get the right numbers calling into dispatch. Because we're still paying $100 for the Spectrum bill to have that phone out there. And as soon as we get it validated that everything's working, they got phones out there, dispatch is getting its lines automatically, then we notify Spectrum to cut.
Great, super, good.
The historic town hall project scope document, there were 8 different documents that needed to be submitted as part of that grant. I finished them Sunday afternoon and sent them off, so now it's up in the hands of LCHIP. I followed up with Brad regarding snow removal and what he does around, and he gave me a copy of what quote unquote is a contract. It's actually not a contract. I have a copy of it. It's actually just a scope of work.
Yeah.
We need to basically take a look at that. I'm actually booked with him tomorrow after the transfer station opens up and things are moving okay. He and I are gonna ride around and we're gonna review every one of the buildings and look at what's on here to make sure it's still applicable. And if there's anything missing, we look to add it. And then we just need to make a decision, is this just a scope document for the people that we're hiring to do this, or do we need to do a contract? We've been paying him as an employee to do this.
Yeah.
And if we go to a contract, then I think we're gonna need to increase the numbers a little bit. I don't think we should.
I don't think a contract is the way to go for a number of reasons, but, and I did talk to him briefly the other day myself, and I think the scope was just marginal on some walkway stuff.
Yeah. No, there was a couple things out here he had questions on, and a couple of plow, the way things are being plowed in certain locations that are contributing more work, and I said, rather than just deal with it, let's ride.
Yeah.
So he and I are gonna ride tomorrow and do that, and then we can come back and look at the document. So it needs to be reworded because of what's there. So it does state it's contract, except there's no signature. or anything about it.
Well,
You
you,
had,
no, go right ahead.
you had the walkway out to the new plant.
Yeah, we're gonna, yeah, that's part of what he wanted to talk about, basically that, and apparently there's 2 locations where because of the way they changed to do their plowing,
Mhm.
actually contributes to more manual shoveling. So it's like, okay, let me take a look at it, and if it looks like it's reasonable to ask him to go back to the old way of plowing, we'll ask.
Mhm.
But I figured rather than try and just talk about it, go look at it and see what's going on.
I'm glad you pulled this, because this was on my list after talking to Brad to pull this, so that's great.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, he gave me a copy of the document, I mean, that he had pulled it up and put in his glove box. That's what he had in there.
I told him the snow blower was all set to go.
Okay. All right, cool.
So, one of the things I think, getting away from the contract and having him do it is probably best, because there was an incident with contracting yourself before that was problematic, and then you tend to put the contracts out, and
We have a solution right now.
yeah, this is a much more simplified version than what I've seen take place in the past. I'm all good with it, if Brad's good with it,
Yeah.
as long as that relationship stays in place, I'd be comfortable staying the course. I don't know about.
Yeah. me too.
You
Okay.
might have labor issues too, because, it's employment low compared to a contract and if something happens.
Exactly, that's part of it. Insurance covered, all, it just gets big.
Yep.
Yeah,
For
great.
the small job that it is. Yeah.
Uh,
Lenhart Systems sent a note to Audrey regarding availability of new PCs.
Yes,
They were involved with a contract where they ordered a number of them and the company didn't take all those machines at the end, so now they gotta get rid of the ones that they got. They're actually pretty good quality machines. But before we physically say, okay, let's just buy 3, buy 4, buy 6, whatever. I sent some information to Audrey yesterday that I had compiled starting back in 2019 around the technology policy. It kind of led us into we had problems in our program, we solved those problems. Now it's basically do a little bit of an inventory to figure out what machines we have and where, how old they are, and then come back and basically say, what do we want to take a look at for a schedule of replacement? Do we do them all at one shot, or we only do so many with a rotating schedule? But we need to talk about that, and I think we can do some of that next week. I'll have done some homework by then too.
okay. I mean, the obvious thing about buying them all at once is the due date to do it again. But yet if
I
there's.
agree, that's why I want to look at it. I think they should be staggered, but
But in the event that we can get if the deal is really that good, maybe it's worth doing, and then attrition takes hold, or we plan for that.
that's the piece I want to pull together, so you've got something to look at. So I've done some preliminary homework, and they're commercial grade machines, and they're really good quality machines. And it's probably overkill for what we need, but the price tag is also very, very, very good.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if the price is really there and we're getting a machine that even exceeds what we really need, it might be. If the price point is the real driver for me, I think on this, and figuring the next time we have to face this, we're in the same boat. But we solved the problem today at a good
With a
price.
commercial grade machine too, the warranties are longer.
Right.
They're like 3-year warranties rather than 1-year warranties. What we have out here right now is all what we call residential machines. They're not commercial grade machines at all.
Yeah.
So this will actually help us in getting us where we need to be. So I'm doing some homework on that.
All right, and when we talk on it again, if you guys have a price point for those, it'd be nice to know.
They already provided it to Audrey.
Okay, I may have seen it and didn't register, I don't recall.
So, the other, with the mail is, for the action folder this week, there was 4 appointment letters for the Historic District Commission.
Yep.
Signed by the chair, Susan Slack and Grace Fuller as members, Chris Garcia and Winston Morrow as alternates.
Yep.
And it's just, they're open slots until we get to the decision points of the ballot and
Right.
whether we are. So there's actually a little bit of work that needs to be done, cleanup stuff. I know Tom's mentioned stuff about minutes and
Oh, yeah.
some other things, so it's like, I'm familiar that there was also a letter that probably should have been sent out as a result of one of the actions that wasn't. So no matter what, we clean up what's there. And if it survives, we've got a slate. If it doesn't survive, then it's done.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's great that people are coming forward, and I think we table it until we get the actions of town meeting, we get to that.
I don't think we should table it, Mike.
Well, we table it until then. I mean,
We
we're not
don't need to
gonna
table it
vote
till
on it.
then. This is an active commission today
I'm
that
not,
has vacancies today.
so you want to make a motion to
I want
appoint?
to make a motion to appoint these 4 people as I just described them
Okay,
today.
and prior to taking a second on that, I'm just gonna say that I am not in favor of appointing to a board at this point in time while everything's in flux until after town meeting, but that's me. So I won't be providing a second. Leave that to Tom.
No, you know where I stand on this. But defunded, it's just, there's minutes over it. You know where I stand. I'm not gonna second this. No.
Okay, then I'll make a motion to hold off with all these names, because I don't want to throw people's names out. There's good quality applicants or,
Well, they already come forward for positions that are in an existing commission that are vacant. And it is the Board of Selectmen's prerogative to appoint. If you decide you don't want to do that, we'll just let the record note that people came forward and you 2 guys decided not to address it.
well, I think the record probably should reflect it, the motions that we make and vote on. And to that end, I'll make a motion to table discussion on the appointments until after the matter is settled at town meeting. After that date, I'd be perfectly willing to go forward based on results that are pending. We have questions out to our town attorney revolving around the commission right now. And I think it'd be a little presumptuous to take any action just yet.
It has no effect on the attorney's opinion. These are open slots to an existing commission.
I have made a motion. I'm looking for a second,
I'll second on table it until we find out what goes on with the ballot.
and then we can take a vote. And I'll ask for that vote now. Go ahead, discussion.
Yeah, and Chuck, I understand, I appreciate people coming forward, I get that, it's great, but this has been like, this board has been functioning with basically 2 members and a selectman rep for how long? No one, we didn't get anybody. Eric, I know Eric tried, the interest was not there, but now all of a sudden, because this has come about, this petition, now people are coming forward, which, once again, is great, but it's kind of after the fact of what was initially going on with this, correct?
Well, you know, it's a situation where we never discussed this as a select board in a public meeting. There was an individual select man that decided he wanted to put the petition together and put it out there. It was not clear to a lot of people that it was a select person acting as an individual that wanted to kill this. It was kind of left open and presented where it could be interpreted that it was the select board that wanted to kill it. We never had that discussion. So from that standpoint, there was a little bit of miscommunication. And the people I'm talking to right now going like, well, wait a minute. We didn't understand this. So I actually understand there's some people that probably changed their mind that signed that document because of understanding a little bit more of the reasoning behind the petition. So I understand exactly where you're coming from. There are some people that are interested in moving it forward. If you guys don't want to move it forward, vote on it, get it on the record. That's all I'm asking.
Well, that's what we're gonna do. To your comments, though, nobody was told it was the Board of Selectmen.
I
that were
know
putting
that,
this.
and that was part of the problem. It wasn't made clear you weren't acting in an individual capacity rather than a board capacity.
Okay, so that can be discussed whenever, and part of the problem we're having right now with this is The petition is put in, it's been accepted. The, fell through the cracks procedurally. It wasn't shepherded all the way through. I take blame for that. And it's my responsibility to make sure things like this get done, at least as the board's chair.
Well,
So,
when it came to the
Chuck,
select
if you
board,
could
it
give
just
me a
addressed
minute,
it,
if you could give me a minute, please.
which you never did. Okay.
So now I didn't bring the petition to the planning board or see that it was provided to the planning board, who is obligated to hold a public hearing on the matter. So it wasn't scheduled for public hearing and the deadline is passed. It is a petition warrant article, and to the best of my knowledge, it still is required by the board to put it on the warrant. That's part of what I'm waiting for from the town's attorney to weigh in on. So we've got that loose end out there, and if it does go on the warrant and it does get voted whichever way, it'll be contestable. End of the day, whatever happens, happens, and it can be reestablished if it's voted down. It can be petitioned to be removed again next year. So the end of the world isn't upon us here. And I say we wait personally as my motion as to town meeting, which hopefully is in March, but we don't know. There's some discussion by the moderator to postpone. So that's just in response to what you said. If there's any more discussion, I'll entertain it. All right, then vote on the matter to hold off appointments until after town meeting. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, Hal and I. Those opposed?
Fuller nay.
Okay. With that, we'll keep moving forward on other items because we are out of here at 10:45, so we got about an hour.
And I'm good. That was the last item I had.
Okay. I have been contacted by the USDA, the Office of Budget and Management has released the funds finally for the Snow Road Bridge project, which prompted another round of signing and upgrading paperwork, which has been completed. And the office has that to send the signed copies back to the USDA. With that, I've got a call out to HEB Engineering to present a letter of award to Hanson Bridge, and then to follow that with the contract signing that we'll have to participate in with Hanson Bridge. And from there, we would also have an agreement that the engineers will put together and agree that is with Hanson Bridge, that it's what we want to do, and all the parts, pieces, and dollar amounts are approved for pre-construction of the prefab products for the bridge. So no telling if this is going to set back our original date, April, May, but it potentially could. So I'm waiting on a response back from HEB as to how fast we can get those three items together and done. And I have talked to Mike Hansen recently, so he's just waiting on the paperwork as well. So that was the big ticket item that I wanted to talk about today. Other than that, there hasn't been a whole lot of activity in town, I don't believe. Snow removal has been fortunately minor. I know there's just sand salting going on for some ice conditions. Other than that, I haven't got any complaints recently, right?
Well, the sand's been going down good. I mean, there are a couple mornings I got out early and the trucks were running the road, so.
All right, let's see. The Wexford card has been addressed with Sean here, so is my list of, one other thing I had for Audrey, I was looking through the budget from last year, and it struck me that the advertising and dues, is that 4197, Dave? Look at this guy, he's got them all memorized. I didn't notice that there was a charge in there, what is it, expected to be higher, and that would have been the Board of Selectmen's annual dues with New Hampshire Municipal Association. So I was just kind of curious if that is in a different category by any chance. So I guess if you just
I'll look it up.
pull that up, yeah. But the budget versus actual I got from you last week really looks like it's cleaned up just amazingly so much. I think there were just a couple little things just hanging out there. And the big one was the whole retirement system one, which may be a bigger problem that can be solved for 2020. And hopefully you're able to get it squared away going forward, 2020.
I have a meeting on that tomorrow.
Oh, great, wonderful. All right, with that, I don't have anything else, so I'm going to ask Dave, you probably want to have an announcement about tonight's meeting.
6 o'clock,
6 o'clock, budget committee here, and there was a
teleconference only.
teleconference over, and on the town's website, there'll all be the information to attend on Zoom.
Right.
Right, okay, great.
Hey,
That's an
could you
information.
just detail, just for the statement, how much the grant was and what we have in the fund and what we expect?
The grant for the USDA Snow Road Bridge. The grant is for up to $250,000. And the town had approved $300,000 for our end. So that would give us a total scope of $550,000 presumably to do the project. The USDA has us outlined as the town's portion looking to be in the neighborhood of $214,700. Now, if that number stays, and then we'll, have over $85,000 in potential savings on what we budgeted. So hopefully we see some good results on that. Just for your knowledge, we're getting in receipts for Bailey Road, the Providence Lake Drainage Project. So CMA Engineers has been requesting reimbursement for some costs. So that project's is underway. And with any luck, we might be able to take their information at the end of March-ish, April. And I'm looking to file another grant off that information for the installation of the culverts there. Don't know what that dollar amount will look like. So I would assume probably in the neighborhood of $50,000. They will supply 40%, I'm sorry. DES will do 40% of the installation cost, depending if we get accepted for when we submit. And another thing we're looking at grants, so Dave, for your people tonight, is the defibrillator. There's a request in by the fire chief for $38,000. We're meeting with Action Ambulance and their personnel to get a better familiarization with the product that you're using, how this would impact us, the benefits or the pros and cons of this purchase. So we're going to be a little more informed tonight on that issue. And there again, I've talked with the USDA about a potential filing in April for funds for a defibrillator. So, and there again, they'll fund up to 55%, but that's kind of still very loose to know where we're going. John?
Yeah, and one of the things, Dave, that is important, and one of the reasons we're meeting with Action today, this is part of the discussion. They're looking to upgrade and change out all their equipment. So we want to make sure that whatever we might want to take a look at, there's some kind of synergy with those, and they would not be based on the current discussions.
So we'll have some update, I should expect, for your committee tonight, because I know warrant article discussions was part of what you sent out. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Anything from the police department want to report, comment on, or keep your head low? Your choice.
No, I mean, the transition's been going relatively smooth, smoother than I anticipated, which makes me happy. The lieutenant and I are still, even though he's been here for a couple months, now that he's bringing on a new full-timer, we're working extremely well together, great communication between the both of us. No matter what we've been discussing, we've been on the same page as opposed to any sort of pushback from one side or the other in how we're going to move forward, in the future with the police agency. I've already been out and talked to a few of the citizens, and warm reception, which has been great. Um, I mean, there's no major complaints outside of what you guys aren't already aware of. And I just told them that we're addressing it, that there are certain things that, we can't do this overnight. It will take some time, and we'd appreciate your patience, and, there will be an outcome. And they seem to be okay with that. So, at least the ones that I've talked to. So moving forward, we're just going to keep hitting the road, keep flying the flag. And, I've been driving through a lot of the kind of left out neighborhoods just to show that, hey, we're out here. And I went and stopped and talked with the guys up at the dump the other day. Great guys, just getting myself out there at least, but getting people to know that we're here. We're not a huge police agency, but we're out as much as we can be, and it seems to be going pretty well.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it's good that you roll through the transfer station every once and again. It's good for the guys up there, not that they tend to have any real problems or anything, but that's great, thanks. I guess, going forward, we probably gotta get your face out there. We didn't have a formal welcoming here or anything, but we should probably get you and Joe probably on the website.
They are?
Yeah, they-
Oh, they
Oh,
are?
yeah, they're right up there right now.
Was the name issue fixed?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, yeah, I noticed
Okay.
yesterday-
Who were you previously?
Apparently I was Sean Welsh, and but I was born Sean Welch. So,
Yeah, I think I might have had something to do with that, so.
but yeah, I mean, I would like to. I've talked to the lieutenant as well, that what I would like to do is kind of like a semi-professional looking photograph. Me in uniform, Joe in uniform, and I would definitely like to get our cruisers out there so that people, especially be on the website, people will identify the cruiser as to what they look like. So I know they have changed over the course of the last couple of years, as to what we have. So I think it would be good to put that out there so it's easier to recognize. Not that the fact that it doesn't say police all down the side, but it's easier for police to know, or people know
Effingham.
that's my agency.
Yeah, and I think there's another thing we had talked about early on with Joe, was there's a pretty good roster of part-time police officers that you guys can draw from now.
Yes.
And I think we'd like to have a photo or some descriptor of those people, either a listing of names or perhaps even their photos to go with or something, because we do. And I know it's a question out there because we in the past have not really had the full complement of officers we'd like to. And I think it'd be nice to let people know that we do have all these folks, and that they may run into them and who they are.
Absolutely.
So if there's a chance to coordinate that would be great.
Yeah, for
Please.
sure.
That's my thought on no,
Yeah,
everybody
and I'm
else.
thinking individual pictures
Yeah.
with a short bio. That way, as people turn over the position and whatever, come and go,
Yeah,
it's easy to replace one that is like, rather than do a group picture, now you gotta get everybody together again for group. So,
very good point. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can. I believe at some point today, I'm going to sit down with the lieutenant and I'll bring that up and see if we can't facilitate that sooner than later.
Perfect.
Tom, did you have, it's
No,
more of the same, right?
yeah.
Okay. Other than that, I guess ladies, anything going on?
I see the cruisers going by the house quite a bit.
Well, you live on School Street.
Going somewhere,
Uh,
prepared too.
all right. Then, we had the old business on the cleaning process, weekly versus bi-weekly. Well, what's your thoughts, Audrey? Are we that messy in here? Is it just for the winter months or?
It is noticeable, because we all make lunch.
Yeah.
Every day, so the kitchen specifically. And then, we could also outline things like dusting that maybe isn't occurring. 'Cause I think he's trying to fit everything, just washing all these floors in a 3-hour period.
And out back now too.
Yeah, the back rooms, so. How's your area?
Relatively clean. I mean, I went through it last week pretty heavily. So,
You did
um,
yourself?
yeah. So I mean, we have our own vacuum cleaner over there and everything. I mean, if it's more cost effective for the town, I personally don't mind if we have some cleaning supplies back there. I don't care if I take care of it myself. Oddly enough, it's kind of a therapy thing for me to clean. So,
My house is right.
yeah, I'll get you my hourly rate. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind if we have just some basic cleaning supplies stuff over there. We already have a vacuum cleaner, so just some countertop cleaner stuff and paper towels and some dusting stuff, and I think we'll be fine.
Well, I think we do have him doing, out there now, correct? So I think because it's a certain consistency in case your time gets consumed at other places, we probably would continue with that, but if it gets heavy, certainly keeping the place a little tidy when it's really kind of, tracking in the mud in spring and
Yeah.
things in the winter. I don't want you to have to like be the sole cleaner personally. I think we have somebody for that who's been pre-approved through the CGIS requirements.
Perfect.
Okay, yeah, I mean, if you absolutely don't want somebody in there, we.
No, that doesn't bother me. Obviously, if somebody else comes in and cleans, that's one less task that I have to do. But
Yeah.
I don't mind doing it. Is all I'm getting at.
Okay. Well, there again, I guess if it gets kind of a buildup because of heavy traffic or whatnot, at least you're prepared to kind of make it so it's not horrible and
Absolutely.
you can function in there when it gets stuck. So with that, I don't know, Tom, any thoughts on that additional?
If Audrey thinks that we need it every week, then she's in here every day, and Bill's in here, I'm not, but yeah, they want to go every week.
Joe?
I'm 50/50. We haven't got a lot of activity going on in this building right now. So dusting once a month or something along that line, or every 2 weeks, I don't think that's a big deal. I'm trying to figure out beyond dusting where the advantage is.
We are in the
Windows.
middle of a pandemic.
If it's a case where the kitchen's a mess, hey, folks, use the kitchen, clean it up a little bit. I mean,
Yeah, we'll do counters and stuff, but I'm personally not gonna do the floor.
well, no, I agree with
Yeah.
that. I agree with that.
On the bathrooms.
So I guess my question would
It would be the
be,
same schedule, I guess is what I'm asking. It's like, okay, I'm only gonna come in and clean the kitchen floor and the bathroom, and that'll be it for this week. And then my
Yeah.
normal job on a regular week.
Maybe we can do something like that.
yeah, that's what I was wondering, if extending at the time frame he's here or having another visit for the heavily trafficked there, because I know that
Yeah.
that entryway has got to be ridiculous now because everybody just
Yeah.
comes right in and it's all
Change
right
up the
there.
job description on a second visit, so it's a little less intense.
Yeah, I think if you had some flexibility built in, it probably wouldn't be the worst thing, depending on your need and whatever you can work out with him or what you feel needs to be done. I guess I go with Tom with the idea, you're living in it, you're seeing it, you know what the needs are, and you probably just need to make some judgment calls and a tweak to what he'll do for us if he's willing to.
Okay. Thank you.
Well,
Does he do the windows too?
Not as far as I can see. Not in my
What
room.
was
If he has time,
Okay.
well, yeah, I think that's something you can explore
Yeah, I
as to
haven't
what.
talked to him myself, so I will do that, yeah.
Okay, yeah, you and Chris, I'm sure will team up because I'm sure Chris has some strong thoughts on cleaning process. All right, anything before we close the door on today? No. All right, with that, I'll entertain.
oh,
a motion.
excuse me, Chairman,
Yes,
we have a question from, a person on hold,
okay,
Susan Slack.
yeah,
No? Okay, I'm sorry, I take that back.
okay,
No, sorry.
no question.
looks good.
All right,
There's nothing in chat? Nope. Okay. All righty.
all right then. With that, I entertain a motion to adjourn. Or do we have any other, before I do that, do we have any other scheduling that we need to do going forward? Or are there any work sessions or hot button items that we want to get into in the near future? Are we taking a little break here?
And say, take a tiny break. I mean, I'm gonna work on the technology thing with Audrey, so that, we'll come up with some discussion items for next week. And hopefully a draft policy to look at for within a month or so.
Okay. All right, I can use the break. Thanks. All right, I'll entertain that motion. So,
Hot sec.
you're gonna have you make the motion. All
Make a
right.
motion to adjourn.
Oh, there you go.
Thought that was already done.
No.
Hold on a second.
All right, all in favor?
All right.
Hal and I, thank you, everyone.
Excuse me, Sergeant.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Dave.